Bonjour from Versailles. I spent the day doing a bike tour slash palace tour, train ride, wandering through a local fruit and vegetable market. And of course I picked a spot thinking I was isolated and there wasn't a single person around here for the last 10 minutes, and now there are golf carts coming up over there. Oh, good news. They turned off to go the other direction. Hooray! Perfect. So, thank you, God. Your intervention is always appreciated. As you can see, it's just beautiful here. Flowers and trees and birds and just beauty everywhere. There's, statues, and the opulence of everything here is completely insane. You can see why the French people had a revolution, because these kings were crazy. Having some raspberry sorbet while sitting in the Versailles Gardens. It is beautiful. Let's talk about the day. So anytime I have these early tours, I have a really hard time sleeping the night before, just planning the logistics of how to get places, and what if the train isn't running, or what if I get delayed somehow, or what if I get on the train and I head the wrong direction. I have all this paranoia, so I never sleep well the night before any of these things. And I had to meet the tour at 8:15, about a 45-minute walk from my hotel, a 16 minute train ride, 2 trains. So I had to figure out a different metro line than I've ridden so far. So always fun to kind of try to figure that stuff out, preparing me for the rest of this trip, which is going to be very train heavy. So I feel pretty good going into it. And the good news is I don't really have a whole lot of timelines. I have hotel check-ins and things, but whether I check into a hotel at 2 or 3 like I have on my little itinerary, or if I show up later that night, or even have to call them and tell them, hey, I'm not going to get there until tomorrow, there's no problem with that. I have that flexibility and that freedom, and I'm very grateful for that. Oh, there's leaves falling on me. Oh, my watch is yelling at me. Hold on one second. Come on. There we go. All handled. Sorry about that. Didn't sleep well again, but woke up feeling excited. Today was one of the tour days that I was really, really looking forward to. I just like being outside. So even though part of this tour was the palace itself, and as it turned out, I was right in what I was expecting, the palace was essentially just a house-like Louvre. So it's a museum, but more used to be very house-like. So it's just opulent rooms and things like that. And I knew that the part I wanted to see was the 2,000 acres of trees, farmland, gardens, and just being outside and breathing this air. And it rained this morning, so that was not expected. So it was a little bit chilly. We're riding around with ponchos, and the guide had gloves for us. It was chilly. It was in the 50s, but here it felt pretty cold. It was windy and it was light rain. And so it wasn't what I expected, and I couldn't really pack a whole lot for this trip because I'm just doing the carry-on. So only really having kind of a hoodie and then borrowing the gloves and having the poncho was helpful, but all in all, a little bit chilly for most of the day. And then finally, come around 2:30, 3 o'clock, when we're about to go into the palace, it finally started to warm up and the sun came out, as you can see by my really fun hair that I pulled back in a braid today because I knew I was going to be riding bicycle all around. And so I'm kind of a mess. And full disclosure, just because I want to be transparent, I mentioned the whole makeup and getting done up thing and feeling good about myself. But today, I didn't do all that because I knew I was going to be essentially exercising all day, right? I was going to be riding a bicycle all day. The weather was going to be a little bit iffy compared to the last few days. And then I found myself, as I was wandering, not wanting to take pictures and feeling really self-conscious and going, oh, Monica, you look terrible today, and your eyes are all puffy, and you don't have any concealer on, and your hair's all, you know, flying out of its braid and looking all silly. And I had to just take a beat and tell myself to get over myself. I'm working on this. Monica, be kind to yourself. It's what my friends always tell me. So that's what I'm doing. I am apologizing. Thank you, accountability videos, for forcing me to acknowledge when I'm doing those silly things. Here, I'm at the very end of the Versailles Gardens, a far remote corner that I just walked to because there's people everywhere in the main part of it, and I just wanted to have a spot where I could do this video from a beautiful place. But my favorite place of all of Versailles so far was the Queen's Hamlet. Essentially, Marie Antoinette, without going too much into boring history, needed a break from the aristocracy. She got tired a lot of times of being around all of the nobility, and she just wanted to be at peace, and I can identify with that. She built this fake village. People didn't live in it, but she built all of these houses. You'll see the video that I posted. It's hilarious. It looks like a town that people would live in, and I had this feeling of like hobbits. The houses are super duper cute. They're not just standard, you know, same looking houses. They're all unique and remind me of a little hobbit village. And no people ever lived in them. She built it, and she would just go there to get away. And I just thought that was really cool, and it was impactful to me in that this trip, part of it is just getting away, trying to figure out what's going on in my head, what's going on in my heart. And I could identify with wanting to take a step back from your normal day-to-day. So I sat there and I found this little area, again, similar to kind of this with the beautiful flowers and things. And I just laid down. I laid down in the flowers, just took some deep breaths and grounded myself in a beautiful place and had a nice long chat with God. And then when I stood up, I turned to go down the path thinking that I was going back towards where I came from so that I could head back to meet the guide and my group. They'd given us an hour to wander around. So I go, and turns out I went down the wrong one. And as soon as I stood up and started walking, I see that there's like a fork in the road. Okay, so I just get off the phone or off the ground from having a chat with God. And I'm talking about, you know, what's my path? What's my purpose? What are you trying to show me? And I see this fork in the road. And I realize, you know, that during this journey, I just feel like I'm going to be shown. I'm going to be shown my options. It's going to be revealed to me that I have choices in who I am, what I want to do, who I want to be moving forward. And anyways, that's what I took from my little piece with God. And that moment was, He's working on me. He's showing me that there are going to be choices for me, that I'm going to need to figure out where I want to go. But that's what I took from it. I don't know if that's cheesy or corny or whatever, but I felt like it was, I don't know, it was a beautiful, peaceful moment, and I felt very connected. And then it was like He was speaking to me. So anyways, hopefully when I'm shown those paths, or I'll know what He wants me to do. And it was a little deeper than I planned for this chat. So there you go, God again, intervening in what I think I have planned to talk about versus what I end up talking about. It's been a good day. I'm going to wander about a little bit more around Versailles. It's just beautiful here, and we're allowed to stay as long as we like. I got my train ticket to head back to Paris. Don't have any plans for tonight. I need to it's been a long day of bike riding and running around this place. So I'm going to go back to the hotel, probably maybe get cleaned up, find something to eat. Tomorrow is the Musée d'Orsay and the catacombs, so that should be cool. And then the next day, 100% open. I have no obligations, no tours, no nothing. Pondering based on a recommendation from a friend who messaged me today. She said that her and her husband like to just get a baguette, a bottle of wine, and sit on one side of the Seine and just people watch and sit and relax. So that kind of sounded like something cool that I would like to do. So I might do that. or find a park and just take off my shoes and sit and wiggle my toes and just have a day where I don't have anywhere. And I mean, really, this whole trip, I don't really have to be anywhere, but I have booked myself some time. So that day I have nothing booked and can just do what I want. So we'll see how it goes. Thanks for watching, and I will see you soon. My friend Kim sent me a message this morning, and she said I needed to take a moment to ground myself and sit. I found this spot, so I'm sitting. Smells like damp earth and flowers. You can hear the birds and slight breeze. Bike tour at Versailles. Look how pretty it is. This spot is better.